back to Linda's Pantry. So today I'm going to make a video response to BexarPrepper's 2-year anniversary is coming up, and this is for current subscribers, so you don't get to jump in and then unsubscribe later. It's for people that have already been subscribed to her, and I've been subscribed to her since I've been on YouTube. She was one of the very first people I watched, and so I'm happy to join in and support her channel. And she's asking us to do a food storage recipe. And it doesn't have to be a whole meal. I was going to do a whole meal, and then I thought, no, you know what? I'm going to do a recipe that I use over and over. It all comes from food storage or can. And it's really versatile to make all sorts of things. So I'm going to do my pizza dough recipe, and every item in the recipe comes from food storage and or can be from food storage. So anyways, I hope that this inspires you to stay along. I truly hope it inspires you to go over and check out BexarPrepper's channel. She's in 2 years gotten over 13,000 subscribers. I mean, that's amazing to me. So here I am at 67. I'm chugging along though. Anyways, I hope that it inspires you to maybe step outside the box and try putting back some things to be ready for a rainy day. Anything can happen, and it's nice to know that we can lean on that pantry item that we have put back. All right, guys, let's go make some pizza dough. Okay, guys, so some of you have seen this recipe before, but those of you that are new, this will be new to you. And I'm doubling my personal recipe. So what I've got here is 1.5 cups of warm water. Now this is warm, like if I put my finger in there, it's, that's nice and warm, but not, that's hot kind of thing. You want to warm, not hot, so you don't kill your yeast. And then I've got, I'm going to put my yeast in there and let it bloom. And that's just waking it back up. I store my yeast, buy it in bulk, and I store it in the freezer so it stays, it's definitely, even if you didn't store it in the freezer, if you store it in a cool spot, it's good for over a year. Every ingredient that I'm putting in here. Okay, and to wake this yeast up, because I like to wake it up a little bit, I'm going to go ahead, give it a stir, and it likes to start feeding on something. So I'm just going to add, make sure this honey, a little bit of honey, just a couple drops, because we're going to put honey in the recipe too. And that will just help that wake up. Okay, now while that's waking up, I'm going to get my other ingredients going. And it's pretty exciting. I love this recipe. It's one of the best recipes for pizza dough that I have found. I mean, if somebody else has got another one that they like, I'd love to see it, because I'm a fan of how versatile this dough is. I know there's lots of them out there, probably lots of them that use exactly the same ingredients as I am. This is the one that I go to, and it works for me. So, and I think that if you know how to make this, and I'm going to do 4 cups of, because this is a double recipe, 4 cups of all-purpose flour. You can use whole wheat, you could use half whole wheat. If you had one of those fabulous wheat grinders, you could grind your own in white or red wheat. Okay, so I've got a nice amount of flour in there. Now we're going to do salt, and I'm using Himalayan pink salt. I have, every time I go to Costco, I grab one just because I don't want to run out of this. I have other salt, but this is the one item you don't want to forget in here, and that's going to be about a teaspoon, or half a teaspoon anyway, of salt. You don't want to forget that ingredient. And then I also do my own garlic powder, okay, and I do it for 5 pounds, is it 5? No, it's 3 pounds of garlic cloves at a time, and dehydrate it and then grind it up. And then keeping it in this airtight container, it's totally okay for more than a year. And I'm going to put a heaping tablespoon of garlic powder in there. Because I love, maybe we'll do a heaping tablespoon and a half. Because we love garlic in any way, shape, or form. Okay, and then in this dough, I also, and this isn't required, you don't have to do garlic, you don't have to do parsley, but I'm going to add some parsley in here because of the way I'm going to use this pizza dough. You could put some Italian seasoning in there as well. And you know me, I like Wild Tree's spaghetti blend. It's probably the best blend of Italian seasonings that I've come across. And I'm almost out of samples, so I'm going to be making some more, or going and getting some more. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this up just to get it kind of pre-mixed together. And then we're going to add, our yeast is blooming over here. Yum. Okay, so I've got my flour mixture is all come together there, how I want it. And now I'm going to add a fair amount of honey, because honey is also what makes this, and I spray the inside of my tablespoon with nonstick spray. So it just slides right off the spoon. 2, 3, probably a good quarter of a cup to a third of a cup of honey. So I'm putting 6 tablespoons on in there. Okay, 6 tablespoons of honey it is. And I'm letting that dissolve right in there with the yeast. And put that away. And now, I also, I don't want to put that away because I need olive oil. And we'll go ahead and put that in there too. 1, 2, 3, and we'll go 4 tablespoons of olive oil for good measure. Again, olive oil, the honey and the olive oil are what sets this pizza dough apart, in my opinion. You do not have to put the herbs and spices, just the salt. Okay, so, and I've done it without salt. If you were on a salt restricted diet, you could do it without salt. Trust me, it works as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pour that in to my flour. Bring my little gal down here, lock it into place, and start the mixing. I don't want to go too fast and hard at first because there's no reason to. We've got to get this all incorporated, and then it's going to need, once it's mixed together, it's going to need for 7 to 10 minutes. You have to let this go ahead and knead to get the elastic dough that you want that's going to hold together and get all the gluten strands going. You might have to add some extra flour depending on the humidity and how fast it rehydrates. So sometimes I add, and I add that a tablespoon at a time. So I'll bring you back when we're ready to knead. So I hope you can see how sticky this dough is right now. It's really sticky. Let's see if I can unlock this. And it's not coming away from the bowl. That is not what we want. So I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of flour. It's still a little bit. It still needs some flour. I wait till I know that it's gotten all the flour up off the bottom and all this. And you're going to add until you see it coming away and it's all coming together in a big ball, but it's coming away from the bowl. That's what we want, and we're just not there yet. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times of getting that flour in there to make it happen. So just keep working. And then, ooh, it's starting to come together now. You can see it's trying to come away from that bowl. So I'll let it go for another minute or so. If it starts sticking again, we'll add some more flour. And now it's grabbed a bunch. It's really grabbed clean off the bowl. And give it 1 minute. If it stays that way, we're going to start the kneading process and time it for 7 to 10 minutes. It's starting to want to try to stick again. Can you see that? That means we need some more flour. Just about a tablespoon. Not much. You don't want to add too much or you get a really tough, dense dough. So, but I think that's probably going to be it. Let's see if it'll pick up the rest of that off the bottom. And we can get to the kneading. And it's starting to stick. Okay, now it's ready. It's all clean, and I'm going to knead this for 7 minutes because it's been kneading. Honestly, while I've been mixing it, it's been kneading, and so 7 to 10 minutes we'll knead this, and I'll bring you back when it's all ready to let it rise. Okay, guys, it's been 7 minutes, and if you're not sure that you've gotten all the gluten activated, there's a way to tell. I do this with my bread, and this is how I do it, and I believe Bear demonstrated that on her stuff too, but the way to tell whether your dough is done, especially when you're kneading by hand, or even this, you know, you go, oh crap, I forgot to time it, and I don't know if it's been long enough. What you want to do is take a piece of dough, and this dough, when it's done, it should not stick to you or the bowl, okay? And just kind of start stretching it. Ooh, you can see all the herbs and spices. Oh, it smells amazing. It's very garlicky. I can almost see through that, actually. You can see light through it. So if it was to just break, look how thin, but if it was to just crumble and break, it wouldn't be ready. But that dough is ready. So I'm going to take the hook off and wash that up. And what I want to do is get the bowl off here, show you the dough that I've got, okay? And it is a perfect consistency for a pizza dough. This is a lot of pizza dough, but I'm gonna do a ton of stuff with this. So I'm gonna roll this out, get this out so I can put some oil in this, and I'm gonna let it rise. And it's gonna double in size. I'm gonna let it rise for hours, not just a little bit of time, but I've got to go to work, and I'm going to be there for a while. And so this is going to rise for hours. And then once it's risen, the nice thing about this is if you don't want to use it all, it keeps in the refrigerator for quite a while. Sorry, I don't know what you can see now. Keeps in the refrigerator, you know, a week or so, but you can freeze this dough. Once you've risen it once, you can go ahead and freeze dough balls, and then all you got to do is thaw it out. Or a really nice way to do it is, look how nice that dough is. Oh, and it smells fabulous. Another nice way to do it is to roll it out. It doesn't have to be perfect, but roll it out on pieces of parchment or plastic, and stack them and freeze them that way, and then they thaw out in a matter of minutes, and you're ready to make dinner. So there's some ideas on how to store the pizza dough if you've made too much. Sorry, I had to get my hands washed. And there we go. So we've got our pizza dough. We're going to cover this with a towel, and I like to use flour sack towels. You could use, actually maybe I will use saran wrap because I'm going to be gone. I don't want it to dry out, so I think I will use saran wrap for this. And that way it won't dry out any more than what is in there. So kind of get a visual of that, and we'll look at it later and see what we got. All right, guys, this is going to be delicious. Okay, so you guys will love this. I ended up working way longer than I thought I would. And so here's our dough. It's definitely more than doubled. Oh, it smells so good. Oh my gosh. I just love yeasty doughs. And so all you're going to do is deflate it. You don't need to punch it or get crazy with it. I'll show you a couple different ways I do this. Okay, so this one, we're going to get this one. That's a nice piece of pizza dough to put in the freezer. Let's put it that way, okay? So what I like to grab a piece of this dough, about the size for a nice sized pizza, or a couple calzones, you know, whatever you think you want to put in the freezer. Now, you could freeze it just like that in just a round little lump. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch this out a little bit flatter. You don't have to roll it. Sometimes after you punch down, you almost need to leave it rest for a bit because it tends to want to bounce back. But this is strictly for demonstration purposes. And I'm trying to remember, somebody else did this the other day. It was either Queen's Cabinet or Pepperazzi, or maybe it was the Canadian. I think it was the gal up in Canada. There's another gal besides the Mrs. Wolfe up there, and I think she stores her pizza dough like this. So then you just get another piece. See, it doesn't have to be perfect. When I thaw it out, it'll be just fine. Put another piece of plastic wrap on it, and there you go. Now, when you take them out of the freezer, they're frozen, and the plastic wrap just peels right off. It takes maybe 20 minutes for that dough. So we're going to take another hunk, because this is going in the freezer. And like I said, it could be put into just balls and put in that way. But if you've got shelves in your freezer, this is a great way to store that. And so all I'm doing now is really just stretching this one out to kind of match the other one, right? So now I've got two. These would be perfect for deep dish, perfect for any kind of pizza application. And this one I'm going to put, well, I've got a piece over here. So you just want to wrap these up, and this is ready for the freezer. Now I've got two beautiful homemade pizza doughs ready for pizza. If we get company and I don't know what to do, I can take pepperoni out of my food storage, because I store pepperoni as well. I can take anything I've got in the fridge and throw together a couple pizzas. We've always got cheese, because I wax cheese, and there's two pizza doughs going in the freezer. Okay, so that I'm probably going to go ahead and maybe wrap it a couple more times in plastic, just because I don't want any freezer burn. Even though there's no air in there, I still am going to be careful. So we'll set that aside. And then one of the other uses, calzones. I did a calzone video. I've done pizza videos, but I really had not done a breadstick video. So I wanted to do that for you. And so what I like to do is get this in kind of a rectangle kind of a deal, okay? And you don't have to have your breadsticks super long or anything like that, but I do like to stuff them. So we're gonna put a little row of cheddar cheese right along that, a little bit of Parmigiano, okay, a little bit of fresh grated Parm, because we know we've got this Italian flavor here. I don't know why I did the plastic on this one, but thought maybe it might be easier. And so it's almost like a long skinny calzone with just cheese in there. Cheesy breadsticks. Who doesn't love cheesy anything, but who doesn't love cheesy breadsticks? And then what I like to do is go ahead, we've got the cheese inside. Now we're going to start twisting. All the while, try to keep your seam closed. If some cheese gets out of there, it's no big deal. It just adds to the effect. So now we've got a really great size breadstick, right? We're gonna put that over here on the baking tray, and we'll do a couple more, and I'll pop those in a 400-degree oven, and I'll bring you back when I show you what I got. And I like to, on these breadsticks, go ahead and just carefully sprinkle down a little extra parm. It'll get all really nice and golden brown and just look beautiful. So there you go. Let's get making some breadsticks. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Okay, so I've still got here enough dough for another calzone or a small personal pizza or some more breadsticks. I've got 3 stuffed breadsticks here and a calzone. This is a pepperoni with mozzarella and sharp cheddar. And then I've got my doughs back there, my 2 pizza doughs that I'm gonna put in the freezer. And these, remember I had these with the herbs, the Italian seasoning, and the garlic that came from my homemade garlic powder that I store. And so really, so far, all the cheese, I wax my own cheese, so it stays over a year. In fact, we had one that, and I mean, if you think about aged cheeses, they ate some 7, 8, 9, 10 years. So depending on what kind of flavor you're looking for. So I'm gonna put these in a 400-degree oven until these are golden brown and crispy. They've all got cheese on top. That Parmesan cheese is just gonna be a rich, nutty, brown texture when it's done. So I'll bring you back when these are done, and I'll show you how I go on. Okay, so I thought while those breadsticks are cooking, I'd show you one more way you can use this dough, and especially in an event that this might be your only bread product. So I'm going to put this on high, and this is my on-the-counter induction oven. This is a larger cast iron skillet that I use quite often, but it heats up super fast. I mean, it's going to heat up really fast, and we're going to make a flatbread in a skillet. This would be something that you could do out camping. I mean, this dough is so versatile. It really is one of my favorite things to make. And because we did this Italian, this would be good to have with some kind of Italian dish. Or you could top this bread with, you know, after you cook the bread, go ahead and top it with some eggs over easy and maybe you know, a slice of ham or something, and you've got breakfast. Who needs an English muffin, right? Starting to warm up already, and here we go. So I'll bring you back when that's all heated up. It takes about 2 minutes. Okay, so it really hasn't even been 2 minutes. And I'm gonna put down a good thing of olive oil. I'm gonna bring that temperature down a bit. This pan is screaming hot, which is what you want. And I'm going to unveil, I've spread this piece of dough as thin as I could get it. And we're putting this right in the pan just like that, and let it just really become a wonderful piece of flatbread. Now you do want to go ahead and prick any air pockets or it'll get really big. So go ahead and do that. Sometimes we do that with the pizza dough anyway, but let's bring you in a little closer. Watch that cooking. It's just like a flatbread that you would, honestly, yum. And this really took no time. The pan is still cool enough here on the sides to touch it, but in the bottom it is hot, hot, hot. So we're gonna let that go for a minute. Our calzones and calzone and breadsticks are almost done. So I'll be right back when I'm showing you something new. So the end result is finally here. I've got my flatbread here in this pan. Take that out. I've got a calzone here and breadsticks. So I've got a lot of taste testing to do. Let me take this out of the way. And note, you know, a lot of people were worried about my bean pot sliding all over. This is not the case. It's kind of, I think it's got a warped bottom. It does that on the stove as well. So I like this. Obviously, I don't like it as well as gas, but for a portable heat source, as long as we have electricity, it's fabulous. I really enjoy it. So here's the flatbread, and I just browned it on both sides. And so you would just tear that off. I'm not going to tear into that calzone. That's for my, yum. It's for my husband. That is good. That would be good dipped in. I could see eggs poached in a beautiful Italian sauce and that dipped in there to sop up that yolk. So let's cut into one of these breadsticks, because those, actually, let's pull the camera back. So, don't they look beautiful? They got all big and puffy. And the fun thing is, some of them have little pieces of cheese here on the edge that seeped out. And if you've ever had a hamburger that has that cheese that gets kind of cooked, you're excited because it's just got a different flavor. So, thankfully these have had a chance to cool, and I'm just going to cut this one in half and show you the inside. It's all doughy and just delicious pull apart dough. These would be great along spaghetti, made from your food storage. Hold on, let's see if there's something else in there. Oh my gosh. I could live off those. Wow. Those are wonderful. This dough never, ever disappoints me. It's chewy. It's got that little bit of, I think the honey makes a difference. I also believe the olive oil makes a difference. So it's never a disappointment. It's always good. This is a very versatile dough. Now, you know that you could make some kind of a breakfast type calzone with a plain dough mixture, no garlic, no Italian seasoning. So let me take some pictures and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so these are really, really good. And I hope that this brings you back. I hope that it inspires you to maybe try this. This is super easy. It's not that time consuming, and you can freeze this dough. You could make a lot of different meal items out of this one dough recipe if you have this in your arsenal, and out of your food storage for pennies, and turn it into any given meal you'd like. So you can make breadsticks, calzones, pizzas, obviously flatbread. You could make any kind of a sandwich thing. It's just in the form of a calzone or a, you know, like a Hot Pocket kind of thing. So I hope it inspires you to stay with me, and I hope it inspires you to go out and go check out BexarPrepper. Even if you haven't subscribed to her yet, go ahead and do that and support her channel. She's a great resource, much greater than I, on prepping and getting ready for whatever might come your way, and maybe things that you hadn't even thought of. So as always guys, I hope I see you next time, and God bless.